הזה בדרך ואני הולך עם ראש למעלה כל אחד הוא בנו בת של מלך ככה היה וככה זה גם עלה יהודי עם נשמה בוערת בכל מקום ובכל ארץ לא רוצה שיהיה אחרת יהודי אני זה משהו נצחי בני אברהם יצחק ויעקב בני שרה רבקה רחל ולאה בני אברהם יצחק ויעקב בני שרה רבקה רחל ולאה עברי אנוכי ויעש השם אלוקי השמיים אני יורד 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 A little bit of history I've been through Ask me where I'm from, and I will tell you I'm a Jew, and every Jew's a proud Jew. Not just me, my sisters and my brothers. Never be ashamed to be a proud Jew. It's not what you've done, it's how he made you. So sing the song and spread the pride around you. Yehudi ani, eternally. Bnei Avraham, Yitzchak v'Yaakov, Bnei Sarah Rivka, Rachel v'Leah. Bnei Avraham, Yitzchak v'Yaakov, Bnei Sarah Rivka, Rachel v'Leah. Ivri Anochi v'Yes Hashem, Elikei Hashamayim ani yoreh. 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 Ivri Anochi v'Yes Hashem, Elikei Hashamayim ani I'm a Jew and I'm proud and I sing it out loud 'cause forever and ever that's what I'll be. I'm a Jew and I'm proud and without a doubt Hashem is always watching over me. Ivri Anochi v'Yes Hashem, Elikei Hashamayim ani yoreh. Ivri Anochi v'Yes Hashem, Elikei Hashamayim ani yoreh.
So, that's one of my favorite songs, and also just to let you know, the person who wrote that, or at least the main performer in that song, I think his name is Benny Friedman, is not affiliated with me whatsoever. Just want to prevent any lawsuits or anything like that before it happens, and I'm gonna have a link to that video in the description after I finish this video. So, this is a modern fireside chat, and that's because we have a TV right up there. Maybe next time I'll actually put an image of a fire on the TV, and we're going to have our people just removing that for us. It's almost like those ancient ninjas, you know, when they were part of the performance, but they were dressed in all black, so they would come and move the equipment as things got better and better and everything. Except of course the wall is white, so we needed him to wear all white. Otherwise, you know, he would stand out, and we didn't want that to happen. So today, and I apologize for doing this so late for anyone, my one viewer who's watching this. I'm going to be talking about tattoos. Are they acceptable? And should Christians refrain from getting them? Or Jews or Messianics? Really anyone. Should anyone of faith who adheres to the books? Or, yeah, the book, the Bible, you know. And so I'm going to go a little bit into the history. Really, this has been an issue for a long time, but there's been this debate. It's never really been a settled debate until very recently. Maimonides, the Rambam, he said something about it, as well as Rashi and a bunch of other people who helped write the Talmud. And then as well, Christians have been debating this at the same time. Christians, from a very early time, from what I understand, they almost just immediately said, no, you should not get tattoos. I don't think they necessarily say it's a sin, but it's definitely not something you should do. Jews, on the other hand, it's been sort of up for debate until 1997. In 1997, they actually had a ruling that basically said tattoos are a sin. They're banned. Can't get them. And so, are they a sin? Well, let's look at the Bible. There's actually the main passage is in Leviticus. I think it's 19, and it says, "Don't get tattoos for the dead," you know, and that sort of thing. And so that people expand that to mean, okay, don't get tattoos. At the same time, part of the debate from the Jewish side, I haven't done a whole lot of research into the Christian side, but part of the debate from the Jewish side was because it says for the dead, don't mark your skin. Don't mark your skin, thus saith the Lord. What they were saying on the other side was that the main problem with marking your skin was getting the name of the Lord on your marking that on your skin. So that is one side of the issue that they were sort of talking about and discussing. And then they also found a little bit of evidence to suggest that people actually did have tattoos, like Israelites.
Toga, 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 toga.
We should not be having any more interruptions from now on, hopefully. I don't know what that was. Either way, where was I?
It was our neighbors.
I see. Yeah, probably. Right. So there's this one place where I forgot exactly what it says, but it basically suggests that the Israelites, early Israelites, had markings on their skin. Saying things like, I forgot what, but having basically Bible script verses on their skin, sort of like what a lot of people do nowadays. And I can get the verses for you next week, because I don't have them prepared. But there's basically this controversy. And then, of course, in 1997, they said, nope, tattoos are a sin. So, from my perspective, as someone who's sort of in the middle, doesn't completely adhere to Christian tradition as well as doesn't completely adhere to Jewish tradition, I like to say that I'm a non-denominational Karaite Jew, Christian, Messianic thing. And if you don't know what Karaite is, maybe I'll do a video on that as well. But basically it just means, you know, you only adhere to the law as law, and then everything else is a tradition. So from my perspective, I would say, oh, also Jesus, he had something to say. Of course, he said in Matthew 23 to do what the rabbis say, basically. And so that would imply, at least in this day and age, that we should not get tattoos, because the rabbis say don't get tattoos. And maybe we shouldn't. However, I think it's not really a sin. Like, the actual verse that talks about not marking your skin, of course, is saying don't mark it for the dead. And there's a reason for that. You know, you don't want to have something.
I have it just here. Leviticus 19:28 says, "And you shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead, and you shall not put on yourself any writing or mark. I am Jehovah." That's all it says.
Yeah, precisely. Leviticus 19 something. 28. And where was I?
Referring to how it's not a sin.
Yeah. Okay, so the reason that it's in there, at least from my understanding, is God doesn't want you living in the past. He doesn't want you to be holding on to something. And of course, if you're constantly being reminded of, you know, this person that died, and it's like right here, every time you're like plowing, or we don't do much plowing nowadays, every time you're like hammering something in, you're looking at it and like, oh yeah, that guy, he died. You know, he wants you to move on. And it's very difficult to move on when you're, when you have a constant reminder on your skin, and it's permanent. Plus, there are certain things as well, like on a more modern note, the ink that they use can be very bad for you. It depends. There are types of ink that they can use that is not bad for you, but some of the inks they use have metals in them, like lead and some other ones that I can't really remember right now. But so some of them actually can be poisonous and harmful for your liver and body. So you have to watch out for that. But there are ways around that as well. Ultimately, the worst you can say about them is that, you know, it's unwise. And then, you know, anyone who gets a stupid tattoo will tell you that anyway. Like, if you get Tweety Bird on your butt or something like that, down the line, like 20 years from then, they'll probably say to the younger generation, don't do that, you know. It might be best just not to get tattoos, just to be safe, but at the same time, it's not like it's gonna damn you to hell. And that's really all there is to it, you know. Even in the ruling in 1997 with what the rabbi said was that it's not a sin that will cut a person off from his people, but once you are Jewish and once you know that, you know, what the rabbis say about it, then don't do it at that point. So even from their perspective, it's not like murder, you know. And then I think on the Christian side, it has more to do with your body as a temple, and you should not. You should keep your temple as healthy as possible, and that's true. You really should. And they would also say don't alter your temple, but you have earrings, you have other types of rings that people put in, and they don't have an issue with that. So really what that means is it's a cultural thing. If it's widely culturally acceptable to get tattoos, then I would say There's nothing wrong with it. It all comes down to really the intention. So, like if you're getting a tattoo just because you want to get one at your man or your dad or your mom or something, you just want to make them mad, or you just want to kind of go against what culture or society is saying, or you want to go against the church, then yeah, don't get a tattoo. I mean, that's the intention will oftentimes make something that is not a sin, especially if there's such a fuzzy line on this topic. At the same time, again, if you're trying to get a tattoo because you lost a loved one, don't get one. Probably tattoos of anyone is probably a bad idea. But, if there are none of those negative intentions, and if it's not directly against what the Bible says, then it's up to you. It's between you and God, ultimately. If your conscience says don't do it, then don't do it. If your conscience says do it, then... if it says do it, I might question that. But if it's saying that there's nothing wrong with it, then, just follow your conscience on that one. And that's all I really have to say about that. Obviously, I'm wearing short sleeves because I actually do have a tattoo. I was going to finish it, but then I decided not to because I just decided it would not be wise to have an entire sleeve and then everything like that. I actually have two. So, I'm not just talking out my butt on this one. But I hope you enjoyed the first fireside chat type of thing that I am doing. Pretty soon, you'll be able to actually see every one of those little tongues of fire. That'll be fun. And say goodnight. Shabbat Shalom.